Welcome back to Adventures in Glass with Doug. That's me. As I said, we've got some changes at the studio here. Things should look a little bit better. Well, it's time for the big reveal on the studio. This is loft over the garage, and it has tended to get pretty warm this summer, so I kind of put off doing a lot of these changes until it cooled down a bit, but we're getting there. I've got a really good work surface now to do these projects. I've got a little more storage. I have my occasional visitor, my dog, and plenty of room for my glass storage, inventory, completed projects. Still want to tinker around with this a little bit better. Get some better hanging space for some of my hanging ones, and see if I can't clean up a lot of these that got dusty in the process. Maybe pass a few more along to friends, put them out in the yard. But we're about ready to get started with another couple projects. Welcome back. We've got some projects that I think are going to look a little out there today, but why not? I've got a couple pieces I haven't quite figured out what to do with. One happens to be this very tall, I guess it's a bud vase of sorts. That needs to be cleaned up, but I think we'll use that with a couple other pieces I found. A blue plate, bit of glass that as I look at it, looks like it might have a crack through it, so I'm going to have to be careful with that one. That sort of tulip look. I have a something else in the brown range. This one is a piece of mosaic glass. Again, it was a nice vase. We're not going to use it that way. We're going to go upside down. But that one also, as I look at it, the base has a hairline crack through it too. So we'll have to be careful with that. And I think the two pieces I'm going to add to that are a plate that has a gold rim and a wine glass that appears to be fine, but it's got some interesting ribbing on it that I think will look good. So what I've got to do now is clean those pieces up so we can get ready to assemble. So just so you know, if you're new to the channel, we use I use thrifted glass to make these sculptures that you could either put on a tabletop somewhere if they're small enough. You might put them out in the yard or in the garden. Some of these have been fountains, some have been bird baths, some have been hanging. A lot of choices, as you can see from the videos that I've posted before. We really have two ingredients. The glass, that's up to you to find some interesting thrifted glass. And then for the adhesive, I use 100% silicone caulk. You should be able to find this at most any hardware store, but if you're still searching for it and you don't mind ordering it online, check below the description. I've listed a whole bunch of the supplies that I use, and you can order it directly online there. So let me clean these up and we'll get started with today's projects. Well, let's see what we can do. We've got this mosaic glass vase that I think will stand just fine as is. I don't really think I have to put that on another plate or anything. So we'll take that, and by now you know this looks a little familiar. We'll put this glass plate on top, and then see where we can go with this goblet, which I think we'll top it with. As I've said before, sometimes it's helpful to dry fit these pieces to see where your matching edges are going to be. I think I'll put this one on this side. Time for the glasses. Turntable always helps me get things as lined up as possible. Okay, we're good with that. For this piece, we're going to just do a rim of caulk around the lip of the glass. Again is a way that we can use the turntable to see how centered up we are. And you know, despite everything, these rims and bases are not going to be exactly parallel, so you're going to end up with some things that will be off a little bit. I think that looks good. I actually have another thing that I think I'll do to the top of it. I've got some glass beads. Let me get those. And I have an assortment of glass beads that come in handy from time to time on these projects. And you know, many times I'll have something like a little shot glass on the top, or I've had my glass marbles that I've put on top. The marbles, the large marbles, are getting a little difficult for me to find, but these glass beads are usually out there. I think what we'll do is just add a few there. I'll fasten those on and we'll be done. So we finished this piece, and we've got the other blue piece that we're going to work on as soon as all the elements are dry. We're back to finish up the project with our blue pieces, but I thought I would share with you that while I'm not repeating myself, but I do have a similar design that I did once before to the this golden brown mosaic piece. I had found a similar vase, put a red plate on it, a candle holder, and a colored ball that I found. So that's somewhat similar to that previous piece that I did. So thought I would share that. Now this one, I finally got this dry. As I said, it was needed to be cleaned on the inside, and the best way for me to do some of that in these narrow neck pieces is to take some sand and some water and use that to kind of scrub it out on the inside. Then you have to rinse it, of course, and it really takes these things a long time to dry out in the sun. And if you're lucky enough and you have a piece of dowel or a long rod that you can put some cloth or paper towel on, you might be able to finish it off, and that's what I did too for the last bit of drying. Okay, so we're going to take that. This is really going to look a little wacky, and in fact I think I'll try it without the turntable because it's so tall. I'm going to take that blue dish, put it there, not much of an upper surface here to fasten, so I really don't want to have anything too substantial on top. And then we're going to take this clever tulip, set it right in the center. It'll kind of look like a cup and saucer on a stick. I know you sometimes can't see exactly, but I put a bead of caulk on that bottom edge. As I said, I can see a crack that runs through this. Hopefully it won't break while it's part of my construction. Alright, we've got to let that dry, obviously. We'll set that aside. Well, I think that's going to finish that up for us. It is a bit different, but if you wanted it as part of a cluster of a couple, it might look kind of interesting, or sitting all by itself somewhere. I hope you learned a little bit, got inspired. Stick around to the end of the video. I think I'm going to put a special time-lapse video of what I did in the studio here. It might be worth a laugh or two. Thanks for visiting the channel. I hope you'll come back. Please subscribe, and if you need any of those supplies, look at the description below. Till next time.